Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much to all of last month's subscribers. We are nearing 700 on the channel, which is getting us closer to that 1,000 subs by the end of the year. So thank you all so much for that. In today's video, we're going to be adding some LED lights to the sim rig. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a while now for, well, mainly two reasons. First reason is that for the live streams, I'd like to have a pedal cam. And so obviously if I'm going to have a camera, I need to have some lighting for it. The other thing is that when I'm live streaming on Twitch from my main gaming rig, there's a little bit of a dark spot behind me, and I think that adding some light there will help to add some depth. By the way, I'm streaming on Twitch twice a week, so if you want to talk about this project or some other projects, feel free to drop a follow over there so you can see when I go live. In order to do this, we're going to need a few items, and you can go out and buy LED kits, and they'll come with a majority of the items that you need for this. I had some LEDs left over from previous projects, and so I kind of pieced together this little kit, and then we'll be using that to add the LED lights to the sim rig. Now I'll be adding all sorts of links to the parts that I'm using in this project, as well as some other ones that I've used in the past and I would recommend if you're planning to do something like this. So to start, we have some Govee LED lights, which is a brand that I absolutely love. I have tons of their lights all throughout my house, so highly recommend them. I also had to purchase a power adapter, as well as the LED controller, which is Wi-Fi enabled and also works with Alexa and Google Assistant. Again, if you're purchasing a new LED kit, you don't need those extra items, but because I'm just using my spare LEDs that I had left over, then, obviously I needed those items. In addition to that, we need some extra wire and connectors, which I purchased as a kit. And lastly, some heat shrinks so that we can clean everything up. The first step in this process is figuring out where we want the LEDs to go and laying them out so we know how they should be wired. The two main things I'm keeping in mind for this project are keeping the cables hidden and also making sure that we can easily disconnect the LEDs in case we have to take parts off of the sim rig or move some things around. With those things in mind, we can actually start laying this out in CAD or Microsoft Paint, because we all know that that's the true workhorse for planning projects. So in this image, the LED strips are represented in red and the cabling is represented in blue. This also gives us a little bit of a sense of how many of the 90-degree connectors we're going to need and how many of the other types of connectors we're going to need. So because the drawing in Paint is just kind of a rough estimate of what everything should look like, it's not going to match up when we actually have to cut the LED strips. So we can do one of two things. We can either measure everything out and make sure that we're as accurate as possible, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start laying everything out, and then once I have the LEDs kind of cut and set up the way that I want them attached to the sim rig, then we'll do some measurements to get everything pretty squared up and evenly spaced on the simulator. with all of the LEDs cut and all of the 90-degree connectors attached, we can actually start looking at the other connections and cutting the cable to length and making sure that we have everything we need in order to finalize all of the connectors and cabling. So some of the connections will need to be soldered, so I'm going to go ahead and solder those up and get everything connected. Now that everything is officially attached, we can use some of the heat shrink so we have our finalized cables. All right, there are two ways that we can test this out now that everything is installed. So we can either use the remote right here, or we can use Google Assistant. So we'll try both methods and just make sure that they're all working now. So first with the remote, we'll just turn them on. Nice. So might be kind of hard to tell, like on camera they look a little bluish, and they do have a little bit of a blue tint, but this is the white color. If I get low enough, you can kind of see some of the LEDs up in there, but you know, you really have to look for them. Like, they're pretty hidden, so that looks nice. We've also got some that went under the seat here, so those are looking good as well. So let's go try a different color here. Switch to red. That's blue. That's white, just so you can see the difference a little bit. Green. Back to white. And turn them off. And so now we can try this with the Google Assistant. Google, turn on my sim rig.
Okay, turning sim rig on.
Nice. Google, turn off sim rig.
Got it, turning off sim rig.
Perfect. I'm very happy with the way that these lights turned out, but drop a comment below and let me know if there's something that you would have done differently, or if you think that there's something I should still add. Maybe I can put some LEDs somewhere else on the sim rig that I haven't thought of yet. As always, if you have any questions about this project or any of the other projects on my channel, feel free to follow me on any of the socials below and reach out to me that way. I truly appreciate you all taking the time to watch this video, and remember, hug your friends and family, and we'll see you in the next one.